the Iron Trader. It is Monday morning, so it is time to go to work. Now we have a good full 5 days of trading this week. That should be awesome. Okay, we're going to take a look here at Bitcoin, at gold, silver, crude oil, natural gas. And then we'll take a look here at the old VIX, which is moving up here just a little bit, about 21 to 34 level. Okay, this video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy, selling stock, about ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, here we have Bitcoin, your daily and your weekly chart. Let's take a little peek and see what's going on here at the old Bitcoin. Now, you can see here how it just came right on off yesterday. But if you watch my Sunday night video, I said just watch this 50-day. That's going to be very, very key. Now, so far we got to this high of 102.275. What we're looking for is yesterday's bottom, 102.425. Okay, so now we filled that gap. Okay, so it came all the way down. Now we filled that gap, which is always very good. Let's look at the downside here first. Okay, so what we're really watching is we're going to watch the bottom of this candle here for support. Okay, 101.390, and then we're going to watch this price channel, which is 108.815, which is basically just the bottom of that candle. Okay, and then we're going to look at this 50-day. Now, this 50-day is going to be very, very key on a closing basis. Okay, and then we come down here to the bottom of this candle here, which is basically 99.90. Now, how do we get there? Well, you always want to look to the left of the chart here. You have 98.615 level. That's the key. The reason we do that is when it runs all the way on up here, okay, and then it has that breakout, and it comes on down, then you break out of that. Now that becomes a nice, good support level, okay? So if it keeps on rolling down here, say we lose that, then we look to the top here, 98.200, and we look to the bottom of this candle right here. You're looking at 97.350 level. Then we just keep right on going here, 96.455. We'll come up top of this candle, 95.640, and then we'll come right to the bottom of this candle, which is 95.70. Right here, 94.934. That's a 100-day. That's going to be very, very key. However, I always like to show you where it could possibly go, okay, if we start losing that 50-day. Now, on the upside here, you can see here, we want to watch, obviously, is today's high. That's at 102.275 level. Now, what we do is we just follow this candle up. So when we look at the bottom of this candle, all we do is look to the left of the chart here. See this, all this right here? See, this is all your, it was your support area. Now this is all your resistance area, okay? So now we want to get back above that. So what we want to do is your next level is going to be right here. Is going to be 103.10 level. Okay, then we'll come right to the bottom of this candle, 103.520. We'll come up to the bottom here. You're looking at 103.620 level. And then what we'll do is see, we come right up here. See, where do you have that more of that support level? Obviously, in this time, it's resistant level, 104.100 level. And then we're going to be looking here. This is going to be key. That's 105.694. Now, you can see here how that 8-day cross over that 21-day. That's not bullish, okay? That is bearish. Now, as this candle keeps rising up here, this is where you're going to be fighting it, just like we have this candle right here, okay? So this is going to be very crucial on the upside, 105.649, and that 21-day at 106.465. That's going to be very, very crucial above here. But when you look at this chart, see how we have this? We have this high. We have a lower high, and a lower high, okay? So we have a descending chart. Okay, that's never what you call bullish, okay? And then we have the same way with the RSI, we're falling on the way down. Now, you're sitting at 44. That's not nowhere near over sold. You know, so this could go lower here. Same way with here, your MACD. Your green is below your red, which shows you momentum to the downside. And that's pretty much what you got going here when you look at the overall chart situation. Now, when we look at the weekly, okay, the weekly is always something that you want to take a look. So by Friday, bullish side of it is you want to get above this 104.649 level. And you can see how nice it held it all the way through. Even though it came down, we closed above. But now look at that. See, we got to get back above that. That's going to be very key. If not, we could fall all the way down to this 95.126 level. But we're looking at that for like about Friday. Now, the whole situation is going to be with this T-Man. He dropped some bombs over the weekend. The key is going to be retaliation. Okay, so always remember that. How are they going to retaliate? You go to that Straits of Hormuz, that could be a big, big problem. Okay, as far as oil, could spike up 95, maybe even higher. We'll take a look at the chart here in just a little bit. Now, and again, on this Bitcoin, just watch this 50-day. Very, very crucial on a closing basis. And if we can rise on up here, watch that 8-day, and then watch that 21-day. That's going to be big-time resistant levels. Okay, let's take a look here now at gold and silver. Okay, here we have gold and silver. Now, I thought gold was going to really rally up because I always look at it as almost like a fear factor kind of a situation, but apparently it did not rally up. But however, we still have a very, very bullish chart. Okay, so you look at this here, we have this low, higher low, higher low, higher low. bottom left, upper right. Beautiful chart here. Okay, just she's a beaut, Clark, no question. Now, what we're going to look at here on the upside is we're watching this 3,400 flat. Okay, let me just figure it out, make it a little bit clearer for you. Okay. Right there. We're looking for that 3,400 flat. Okay, that's your 8-day. Now you can see here we're doing the same thing we did Friday so far. We're bouncing between the 8-day and that 21-day. Okay, so we want to watch that 8-day. That's going to be key, 3,400. We can get above that. We're going to look over here at 34.19, and we'll come up here 34.22, and then this is what you're looking for is this 34.27. See that price channel coming right across? Then we can come over here 34.44, 34.48. We'll come up here 34.68, and then your retest at 34.76. Now, we can crack above that. Then right here we have that 35.09 level, okay? Now, this was that spike high, okay? Now, we had a descending chart, but now we don't. We have an ascending chart here. So this is looking here still very, very good situation. And actually, even though we had this, it's a red candle kind of indecision, we still have a higher high and a higher low. Okay. Now on the downside, this is going to be very, very key. Is this 33.67 and that 50-day at 33.27. But give that 50-day the benefit of doubt if you're trading this here because it held it. It held it. If it comes down to there, that'd be a good buying opportunity. If it holds it again, to take it back up. Okay. So always remember, right now we're right between the 21-day here. Okay, and we're between that 8-day. So we got to see how this all going to shake out. But be a little bit patient. I think eventually this is going to crack that, and you're going to go to that 3,600. Now. 54, that could go either direction. Same way here, we got sideways action. So right now here, it just you have a bullish chart, but you don't have that big run-up kind of a situation. But a key is going to be that 34.76. You crack above that, then we have a nice target. We lose that 21-day, and then we got 50-day. Now, let's just take a look here at silver. Now, silver was beautiful, beautiful sideways action here, and then usually when you have that, it builds that energy. But look how many times it held this 100-day. Look at this. Okay, very, very nicely. Now we had this nice bull flag, perfect bull flag right there. Rally right on up here, and then we made a high all the way up to 37.40. But if you watch here, see why we made this high? We made a lower high. We made a high, we made a higher high. See this? Negative divergence. Always pay attention to that. Now, Friday, we had this big ass red candle, and now we lost that 8-day. So that's going to be critical on the upside. That 36.44, that's going to be very, very key. You have to get back above that. Then we can retest Friday's high, 36.82. They want to come up here at 37.03, and then we have your 37.40. You crack that, you're going 38, and then you're head to 40. But right now, we have what they call an inside day. Your high and your low is the inside the previous day, so we got to see how it shakes out. And now, downside, we want to watch today's low, 35.77, and then Friday's low is going to be key at 35.51. Then we have your 21-day sitting right there at 35.29. We lose that, then you're going to come right to the top of this candle here at 34.94. That's your next support, and then we just follow running down. Okay, right there, 34.60, okay, 34.35, 34.16, and then we have your 50-day at 33.81. Right now, I have no position in there, and I have no position here. I usually trade the GLD for gold. If it cracks above that 8-day, I might take a nice trade until that 34.76, and then see what the reaction is. The same way with silver. If we can get above this 8-day, then I take it long and see if we can get the retest of that 37.40. Now, watch that negative divergence here, and watch that crossover. That's a bearish crossover on the green on the red. Okay. All right. Let's take a look here at crude oil. All right, here we have crude oil, your daily and your weekly chart. Now, you can see here we had this big spike high yesterday, and we went above that price channel at 77.62 level, okay? And then she came flying right on down. However, we still have this series of low, higher low, higher low, higher low, and higher high situation here. So we got to be very, very careful here. Now, the key is going to be this 8-day. You need to hold that 72.20. If we start losing that, you're going to come to the bottom of the candle, 71.33 level. You're going to come down to this area here. This is that 69.50 level, and then 68.62 is your 200 SMA. Now, we have this inverse head and shoulders pattern that played out, very, very nicely. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Said it's going to go to that 200-day, and then we had that uncertainty. We got about $9, remember, in this oil premium that's going on. The market right now is fully supplied, okay? So there's no question about it. But, big but here, something happens in that Straits of Hormuz, that's 20% of all the oil flies right through there. So very, very cautious. This could spike up much, much higher, okay? So let's take a look at where this actually could be. Now, look, we have a target up here at 130. Now, I'm not saying that's where it's going, but I say if we have some kind of a disruption, that's where it could possibly go. Now, the key to the upside here is going to be this right here. It's going to be this 80-10. That's the key. That's going to be your 200-day simple moving average. Now you can see where it went up here, popped up, came right back down. Right there, right to it, come down. Popped up, came down. So again, you got to respect that if it gets in that area, 80-10, okay? Now, if we can get above that, we have this level right here, 80.77, okay? And then we can come right up to this level right out here, okay? Looking at 84.52. And then we come up top of this candle, 87.63. And then we can come all the way up here. You got that 95.03 level, okay? So if there's a disruption, this is the level that I'd be looking for, is this 95, okay? Now, again, if we just take that down a little bit here, okay? There's our 95 level. Now, you bring this price channel across here, what do you got? You got 114 right there, 123, retest 130 up here, okay? So again, this could be really, really, spike right up high. Now, when you look at this chart here, you got a descending chart. See, we have a high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high situation. So we have a descending chart. If you close above this key 200-day, that could maybe possibly change that, and then we could reverse and go up higher. But very, very cautious here, okay? So that's what you got to love. But remember, you have a good $9 premium here, so if something would get all resolved here, then this could come right down to the 60s. So just watch that 8-day, very, very key. If that's lost here, when we're looking for that 200-day, and then we're possibly looking for this 21-day and that 100-day, and maybe even that 50-day, if they can get this resolved, okay? Now, we've got to see how this all shakes out. Very, very uncertain situation going on here in the old Middle East. The key is what is the retaliation, how deep it's going to be. It's going to be Straits of Hormuz. What is all going to be? I think that's going to be, eventually you will get a retaliation. The key is, what is it going to be? Okay, let's take a look here now at natural gas. Okay, here we have natural gas, your daily chart. Okay, let's take a little peek here. Now, you can see on Friday here, we had that big spike high, okay? Today, so far, we have what they call just an inside day. Your high and your low is the inside of the previous day, okay? So what we're looking for here, we're holding this support level, which is basically coming off the top of this candle right here at that 384, okay? See how nice that's holding? Okay, now, if this area is lost, you're going to come right down to this 8-day at 375. We have the 100-day sitting there at 367, and then your 21-day 363, and then 343, and then 335. So we have huge support levels here all the way through, and your price is above all your simple moving averages, okay? Very, very easy. Now, upside here, well, what we're looking for basically is the top of this candle right here. You're looking at that 4 flat. And we can come up to this 414, probably 415 level, okay? So when we're way down here, I just said, if we start breaking out here, always look to the left of the chart here, okay? So we were looking at the first level, 393. Obviously, we got above that. Then we're looking for the next level at 408, okay? And then we're looking for this level right here. This is that 415 level. And where did she go? 4.148. So you're right there, okay? Now, if this could crack on up here, because you look at your price channel, it's on the rise here, okay? Then next, this is going to be your next level, is that 420 level, and then we have 425. Now, say you break through this 425, okay? Then we come up to the top of this candle right here. You're looking at 436 level. We'll come up here. You're looking at 447. We'll come up top of this candle, 455, and then we have 458, and your big retest up there at that 490, okay? Very, very nicely. Now, we got to see how this all shakes out. But see how your 8 days curling up, 21 days curling up here. But now we just have this sideways action. But we did have that, that spike high, which is, topping tail. So we got to see how that shakes out. So only way we can get back above that is we have to close back above that 414 level. Okay. Now you can see here how the price got outside of that price channel. Once it does that, it always wants to try to pull right back in, and it wants to go towards that 8 simple moving average here. Okay. So now we got to see. So again, if it comes down, holds this 8 day, okay, that could be a good buying opportunity here to take it long. Okay. Now, easy way I trade this: UNG for the long, KLD for the short. Works out very, very nicely. Right now, we just got sideways action. Okay, so we never got to an overbought condition. We're sitting at 60. That could go either way. Green is still over your red, so this is still a very, very bullish chart. Low, higher low, higher low, higher low, bottom left, upper right. This is still looking good. Now, natural gas is still kind of in the shoulder season. It ran up big here because of the heat. Now, we've had some massive heat. It got to 103 degrees here yesterday. It was hot. I mean, that humidity and that dew point were way up in the 70s. Yeah, it was very, very hot. Okay, that's what they're based on. They're talking about a really good hot July, and that's something's got to feed the power plants. Natural gas is the key. Okay, but again, now if we have a hurricane season, any kind of disruption, we'll take natural gas higher. Okay, so I have no opinion okay, because you're coming into your own here now on the old natural gas. Okay, let's take a look here now at the VIX. Okay, now the VIX here, we had that big pop and drop here, and always look at it this way: when the VIX is high, you want to buy. Okay, I'm not talking about buying the VIX; you want to buy the stocks. Okay, because it never lasts. So you can look at old sticky up here, see, and then it pops right on down. Same way with here. Okay, now it came on down all the way down to that 1623 level, and then we had this little green candle. Now it didn't really rally up that much. It got as high as 2162. It didn't really pop that much, and you have a lot of good resistance here. What I'm really looking for, if it pops up here, is that 50-day, because all these charts all work the same thing on anything. Okay, so you're looking at 2264, but realistically, what we're looking for, take this price channel right across here at 2553. Okay, if we start breaking that, okay, then we're going to be looking here for this next level, which is going to be right here at that 2817. And then we're going to come right on top of this candle right here. You're looking at that 3268. And then we'll come up here at that 3685. Then we'll come all the way up top of here at that 5487. And we have that retest up here all the way at that 6013 level. But again, now there's a lot of people out there that just trade the VIX, okay? So right now, there really isn't much here. I thought we'd have a little bit bigger spike here. But again, the day just started and the week just started. So we got to see how that all shakes out. So always kind of watch the VIX. People say, the VIX isn't neither what it used to be. And I agree, it probably isn't. However, when you get these spikes up like this, okay, that's why you always want to have a lot of cash on hand. When you get these spikes like that here, then make a list of a shopping list of what you want to buy, because that's when you're buying opportunity. For me, it's tech. Okay, I just think like your Nvidias and your Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, Apple, Netflix, Google, all that kind of stuff I just think is what I always get myself into as far as buying, is when I see this VIX right on up here. Okay, so always kind of just put this on your back burner. Take a look at the VIX, but when that VIX is high, you want to buy. Okay, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here midday trading. We'll take a look at here at some stocks. Remember, trade what's in front of you, not what you want.